This video will probably be like a grab bag of just about everything. I just got back home. Oh, I have my PS4 and my TV turned on and switched to YouTube. I haven't searched anything yet. Parenting 4-star came out with a new HFIL thing a couple days ago. Check that out. Um, in general, what this video is going to be is at some point I'll be seeing the entire Toxicity album by System of a Down. Also, just sort of rambling about random stuff. Also, I watched the Morbius movie, and I'll probably talk about some personal things, and perhaps be emotionally sappy or something. I don't know. So, yeah. So I just advise no one listen to this video at all. Just, just close out of the video right now. But yeah, just got home. I listened to the Toxicity album on the way to and around the big city, as well as on the way back home. Basically, I drove out there to the big city, stopped at a restaurant, got some to eat, went to a GameStop, got a Steam card. I've yet to actually put it on the Steam account. And then stopped by that one, gaming Dungeons and Dragons type store. I wasn't able to find that one Cthulhu book that I remember from the past seeing. There's one, like, I'll have to show a picture at some point where it's a big, it's almost like old parchment style, where it shows like a drawing of a. I'll probably use that picture I'm thinking of for the first. Oh well, the back of the book's dented or something. Oh well, it's probably something I did. Probably set it down on something because I have some shit in my passenger side of my car right now. I need to clean that out. So, despite being a hardback book, it actually feels like it's soft material. But I'll show the other picture of that, and probably the second page will be what this book looks like. Well, what I have is I bought a book. It's called the Call of Cthulhu Keeper Rulebook. It's about horror role-playing in the worlds of H.P. Lovecraft by Sander Peterson with Mike Mason, Paul Fricker, Lynn Willis, and friends from the Chaosium Inc. It's a really, really thick book. So, yeah. But yeah. After that, went to watch the Morbius movie. Got some popcorn and some soda. Watched the movie. I'll probably talk about the movie. I'll probably have spoilers in that. Um, Beyond that, drove home. I'm home now. Listened to Toxicity album some more in the car on the way back. I considered just trying to find lyric videos and posting them in the Ultra Kill video. That way, I have everything set to go. But I'm just gonna look them up as I go. So, but at least listen to it in the car. Um, yeah, 5 billion things to talk about. I don't know. I like the concept of pacifism. For the most part, I've always tried to live by that. There's sometimes where I've had to, for self-defense or defense of others, but that's usually situations where you're in a back alley with 5 people beating the shit out of you. But in general, I'm a very non-confrontational person. I enjoy violent video games. I enjoy WWE and UFC, and when it comes to actual fighting stuff, I like sparring and I like hitting a punching bag, but I don't like. It's funny. I enjoy violent movies like Hellraiser and all that stuff, but I don't like the idea of actually hurting people. And usually, if I go over to see somebody else in pain, I want them not to be in pain. I want them to feel better. I'd say, if anything, I have an extremely overly strong sense of empathy and just conscience, just a very strong conscience. Though as I've gotten older, it's not that I've turned evil. It's just that I've become slightly apathetic and more depressed. So it's not like I'm angry toward people. I'm just like. Then again, it could just be I'm tired all the time too. A lot of times I'm like, you know, feel like if somebody were to get hurt around me, I'm like, well, I'd rather just not care and just take a nap. Maybe I'm just really tired. So that might not even be an ethical issue. That might just be I'm just not sleeping enough. Then again, a lot of human interactions sometimes boil down to chemical reactions. It seems. I know doctors want me to be on a shit ton of antidepressants and steroids, but I'm not really sure about the effects that stuff would really have on me. Worried about being addicted to stuff. For all, I have a very addictive personality, so thank goodness I've never done anything that really would count as being addictive, other than like drinking Pepsi and eating sugary foods. Um, I'd say probably the strongest painkiller I've ever had in terms of a prescription would be like a type of Vicodin or something, but that was, I got hit by a truck. So I had like a dozen staples across my head. I couldn't move my left arm. All my ribs are bruised. My legs, both my legs are covered in purple and black bruises that looked and actually felt like a basketball. I mean, like a overinflated basketball, how it feels like rough and like that's basically how a lot of spots on my legs felt. But that was years ago. But I think I was taking that for like what, a week. I know after my spinal tap, I was taking quite a bit of Excedrin and wearing sunglasses, but that was mainly just because I was in pain. My body, not like, I know my very first day in the hospital when that happened, I ate half a Cheerio. Doctors wanted me to eat more, and I could barely force down half a damn Cheerio that day. I don't know, maybe after I have the surgery here in a few months, I'll probably lose it. Because I do feel like I have a bit of a fucking beer gut. But I think that's just maybe just eating too much. And I won't have to like worry about eating a lot to keep energy levels up if I'm not working during that time because I won't be able to work. So yeah, if there's no need for me to eat a lot, I can just eat very modestly and my body should just shed the fat. Not looking forward to that surgery. I'm not sure what kind of after effects that have after being sedated for 3 to 4 hours to have reconstructive surgery on the insides. But again, that's not optional. That's literally I have to do that or else, you know. But at least I can ignore it for now. It's not like it's a life-threatening thing at the moment. Besides, everyday life, everyone's life-threatening thing, so I can't really complain. It'd be very childish of me to complain about such a thing. It still does bother me, but then again, I guess I am childish. It does bother me that I'd have to be sliced open, and especially like they'd have to like take the knife and cut me open between my ball sack and my butthole, have me unconscious for 3 to 4 hours, pull out some of my insides, cut those apart, stitch them back together, shove them back up inside me, and take 6 weeks recovery. And first 2 weeks of that, I'm gonna have a catheter up my dick. I imagine that I don't know because when I was under for 20 minutes or so for the cystoscopy, I was just went from one lucid moment to the next. And aside from minor grogginess later that day and just horrible pain while peeing, really wasn't that bad. I maybe had lesser energy levels the next few days, but I didn't have to work at that time. It was during the Christmas. We had like a week off for Christmas. So, but I wonder how is my body really going to react to 3 or so hours? Plus the fact that My body would probably, no matter what kind of painkillers they give me afterward, my body will probably still be giving me pain signals for, you know, being sliced open. I imagine, because I don't like pain, but yeah, I don't know what kind of pain medications they'd probably give me after that. But it's not like an issue of like being concerned about being addicted or anything at that point. Just an issue of it's going to be a necessity. So I don't know. This does bother me. Or it's just I'm still going to try to record Let's Plays. Perhaps even the same day back from that surgery. And like I said, I'm going to try to push it off as much as I can. But I'm going to be very grumpy. But it's just, best way to put it is this. Even the times I've been in fights, I feel guilty about, fighting back, about hurting another person. And of course, even there's times where it's just, you also get on your own case because you're like, well, like what's considered cowardly in that situation? But even then, it's just an issue of, I still consider it a better option to not harm the other person or go excessive, especially in, you know, you don't want to actually hurt somebody. But I enjoy violent video games, like Grand Theft Auto and stuff. But I don't like the idea of people actually getting hurt in real life. I guess it's the equivalent of wanting to play like G.I. Joes and little action figures with people, but not actually wanting to actually fight. I don't know. Then again, I guess there's also been lots of times where just there are also even extenuating circumstances to where like heck, there's even times where the person wanting doing the attacking is actually somebody you care about. I mean, my last Christmas actually being married, I still have a 3-inch scar on my right arm from that. Granted, I don't consider myself athletic, but I am and always have been and always will be stronger than my ex-wife in every way. But yeah, she just last Christmas I was married, which my family was all together. Which honestly, thank God it's not anymore. I'm glad I don't have anything to do with her anymore. She was screaming, she was cussing, she was breaking our son's toys. And he could see all of it. She was just screaming, cussing, breaking his toys, throwing them against the wall, throwing the toys against the wall. And then I told her to stop. Well, I'm getting a 3-inch scar on my right arm. Any deeper, I would have had to go to the hospital, get stitches. I wore long sleeves for 3 months after that. There are probably thousands of other things I could complain about. Similar things, but honestly, that would be the worst thing. In general, there's no reason to stay with somebody in that situation, but I didn't want to lose my son. I wanted to go do what was best for him. He's in a safe place now. I still see him, I still talk to him. Though I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel alienated at times. But it's just a normal part of life, I guess. The main thing that's important to me is he's safe. He's happy where he is. The main reason I decided for him to live where he did was because after divorcing, we wound up trying to go for shared custody. And getting that, she made it clear that he was not going to be safe, that she was just going to disappear with him. So I made the choice I had to make to keep him safe. I've encountered people all my life. I can't control their temper. I was bullied so fucking much in school. Been in more fights than anybody I know. Unfortunately, I can't remember winning any of them. Most of them consisted of groups of people kicking the shit out of me in the alley or shoving me downstairs or shit. And part of it's just the fact that, I am non-confrontational. I don't want to hurt anybody, but of course, you know, I would never want to judge somebody like people that are in police and military. I mean, they're doing a necessary function to help people. And I would certainly say that if anyone's in danger, you should definitely defend yourselves. You should definitely, if somebody else is in trouble, you should definitely defend them. And heck, a lot of times I could probably criticize myself that maybe I'm just a coward and a pussy and all those things, but it's just, as much as I am into horror stories and stuff like that, I wouldn't want to ever hurt anybody. Yeah. I'm glad I don't have to see or talk to that person ever again. Though I'm sure I'll hear from them at some point. But it's just when somebody you trust acts like that, to wind up being scared of somebody that you felt safe around at one point. Like I said, I'm glad I don't see or talk to that person at all anymore. But it's just, and it's not just in regard to that person. There's other stuff with other people. I mean, honestly, if I were to just talk about everything, but of course I know everyone out there has got their own issues. I'm just saying this: if anyone out there is in a situation where anyone's mistreating you, get out. I mean, I'm not, and of course I feel if you're like, you're, whether it's school or out and about in the city, you should definitely defend yourself. But usually the best thing you can do is just avoid a situation. I mean, if you know, like, heck, if you know, like, a certain part of the city, like, you're going to get jumped or something, don't go there. The easiest way to, not get hurt in a fight is to not be in one to begin with. But of course, aside from any ego issues, I mean, even if you do everything you can to avoid fight, sometimes there's nothing you can do, and it's just, you'll be involved in things. But at least I can take solace in that the people I care about are safe, and that I made the correct decisions to protect them. And at least I've never done anything wrong. I never hurt anybody. Heck, I've been depressed my whole fucking life, and yet I've never once tried to off myself. I never would. But I do feel very down sometimes. But usually that's the benefit of just being able to do things like this, where if I feel a bit depressed or emotional or a bit Nostalgic isn't the word. Nostalgic's a bit of a happy thought. What's the word that describes thinking about stuff, but it's depressing? 'Cause nostalgia's like happy. So what's the opposite of nostalgia? I don't know. But at least I can just talk about things like this, and yeah, makes me feel better. Just go talk about it. That's one thing about the Morbius movie, though, is that I say I'm a pacifist, but here's the thing: if I actually had superpowers, would I still be a pacifist? I'm not even just saying would I be out there trying to do the superhero thing and fighting people to help people and accidentally doing shit. I'm just saying, if I had superpowers, wouldn't I just go full on monster and do shit? Like, especially like the way it's shown with Matt Smith, the person who played the Doctor, Doctor Who. Seemed like almost the blood thing was acting like a narcotic for him. So, thankfully, I've never really had to mess with any of that stuff, and at least if I do wind up having to do any of that stuff, it'll be doctor prescriptions. So, then again, when I go through the surgery, I won't care about what prescription the doctor gives me. I just won't want to be in pain. And I'll also be a grouchy asshole because I'll have a tube up my dick. But most important thing is my son is safe and he's happy where he is. I still get to see and talk to him. He's doing good with school. He's a bit still upset about the whole COVID thing. He watched too many of those news reports when the whole thing was going on. So for a while there, he didn't want to even go to the grocery store or anything because he was scared of getting sick. Turns out, I think news stations can be traumatic. But then again, I mean, heck, how many things do they talk about in the news that are fucked up all the time? I mean, even to an adult, that stuff's overwhelming. But yeah, like I said, as far as all that situation, I just wanted to do what was best for my son. And in the end, it worked out that way. He's in the best possible place for him to be. I can still be a father to him. I can still talk to him. And still spend time with him sometimes. Well, I would like to spend more time with him and talk to him more. At times I feel like I just feel like I feel like the bond between me and my son's gone. But that's just selfish of me to be really upset about my own emotional state on that. What matters most is how he's doing. He's safe, he's happy, and he at least knows that his dad loves him and is proud of him, and always there for him. As far as my family, like I said, I do love my mom. Lots of complicated issues regarding my family, but in general, I wish no ill on any of them. I do care about them. It's just lots of conflicting emotions on that. Then again, I am a bit of an antisocial person at this point. I'm actually more so actively avoiding the rest of humanity at this point. Partly avoiding dating because I'm just more depressed than I was when I was younger. Plus, I don't really feel those kinds of emotions the same way anymore. Plus, it's just a lot of times I'll just be so busy with work. At least now I'm able to pump my emotions into this. just talk about random bullshit. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I like Bash the Stampede from Trigun. I agree with the concept of pacifism. I'd prefer it if no one ever hurt anyone ever again. I mean, imagine that. A world with no war, no murder, no rape, no torture. Heck, no need for everyone to be locked up in prisons. But a lot of people did terrible things to end up there to begin with. I'm just saying if no one did stuff to begin with. Heck, first song in the prison song, there's like 14 songs, Toxicity album. The first song is prison song, and one of the lyrics says, "The prison population of America has doubled since 1985." And it came out in 2001. So it's saying that between 1985 and 2001, the prison population of America doubled. So the percentage of Americans in the prison population doubled since 1985. So that's 16 years. Over a course of 16 years, it doubles. But keep in mind, that song came out 21, almost 22 years ago. No idea what statistics are now. And like I said, idealistically, I think pacifism is the best way to go. But of course, you should defend yourself and you should defend other people. But of course, that's your call to make. It's just, I don't know. I don't think there's any reason for anyone to ever murder or rape anyone. I don't think there's any reason for war to exist. I understand some people could argue that it's part of the evolution of humankind, but by wars happening, it helps to advance civilization, but it's not worth it. I mean, even if you look at certain good things that could possibly come out of it, I mean, think of each individual that winds up dying and suffering in those situations. And of course, there's times where it's justified to go to war because you're doing it to protect people, like the World War II thing. I mean, imagine if no one had actually fought against, you know, Germany, Japan, Italy back then. Of course, I'm pretty sure everyone in all three countries that lives there now would fight against the people from a couple generations ago. Also, how long do you guys really consider a generation? Some people say 20 years is a generation, some say 7. I don't know. What do you guys consider a generation to be? But yeah, I'm gonna take my shoes off. I'm not bothering to have this on. Still wearing my pants and everything, I just have my zipper undone. Just because, I'm kind of fat, so if I'm gonna sit here, if I have my pants all the way zipped up and buttoned, it's gonna be like digging into my gut. Fat people problems, right? But can I really call myself a pacifist? Because I mean, I'm just a person who really doesn't have much power or influence in the world. I'm just a guy who works in a factory and plays video games and yells at Super Meat Boy. Who sings terrible karaoke, who reads Dungeons and Dragons books as a hobby, and basically tends to be isolated and alone. Like I said, when it comes to the potential of the surgery and all that, I've only ever My parents know, but that was because I needed a car ride, so you're not allowed to drive after cystoscopy. Apparently, anytime they put you under any kind of anesthetic or do a major surgery on you, you're not allowed to drive after that. So, but any of the people I would call friend, I haven't told them about anything. I mentioned stuff about it to higher ups at work, but that's just because I'm going to be required, to do all sorts of paperwork and stuff with that. So again, that's more so I don't have a choice in that matter. At least this bottle of carbonated water is still sitting here, though it's probably warm by now. Even though it's had the cap on the whole time, it tastes decidedly more flat. In general, I've described myself as I'm a lazy person who just cares about himself. Self-centered. I just care about me and my own happiness. I'm just concerned with, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to not be in pain? How am I going to be better? How am I going to get stronger? How am I going to play a video game? How am I going to, be there for family? How am I going to do in the dating world and meeting new women? Which, again, is just part of me. It's just, I keep telling myself I should try to, and I just keep not doing that just because, one, I never had the greatest self-esteem or luck. I mean, honestly, I have been rejected by so many women that honestly, if you asked Vegeta how many women have rejected me, he'd crush a damn scouter. Screaming it's over 9,000. But so part of me's just like, you know. And then again, it's like part of me's like, why bother asking? And other part of me's like, maybe I'll ask after a nap or something. Just maybe not right now. Just tired. But even then, part of me's concerned that I didn't wind up with somebody that's just. That being said, I don't regret a single relationship I was ever in. I don't regret anybody I ever dated. I don't know where I'm going with anything. But in general, I just don't like it when people are in pain or sad. I don't feel like they should be forced to be happy against their will either. The way I look at it is this: crying is useful, releases endorphins. Now, of course, if something's making you cry, you should do something to try to improve your life to alleviate whatever's causing that pain. And I'd say if there's anything you want to do in life, you should try your best to be your best at it. But of course, don't burn yourself out. Don't hurt yourself. Because I'll say this: take physical fitness. You should try to be the strongest you can be. I mean, by all accounts, if you can be strong enough in weightlifting to basically be a monster, then you should. At the same time, you also have to keep in mind that the human body has limitations, and your goal is to get stronger. You're self-sabotaging if you're going to hurt yourself. I mean, heck, there's some people that either do stupid stuff at the gym to get themselves hurt, or heck, I mean, type in bicep tear or pec tear, or like people like that. These power lifters that are lifting so fucking heavy, and all of a sudden you just see the muscle just rip from the skeleton. and you got to have major surgery to try to get that stuff, you know, functionally to work, and even then, you won't be able to ever be the same. Take Ronnie Coleman. He attained greater heights in terms of strength than most men could even dream. But he also just seriously compressed so many vertebrae in his spine that for a while there he was walking like Jared Leto, Michael Morbius from the movie. I'll say this, at least I am much healthier than that. I'm just your average guy. Honestly, I can't say I'm any less healthy than your average person. Occasionally, a couple knickknacks here and there, the body act up. But honestly, it's probably mainly just my own emotional insecurity and feeling like no one would accept me for how I am. That, okay, I'm not attractive. I'm not strong. I'm not tall enough. I'm not skillful at things. Sometimes I tend to be very tired. And I just feel like in general, no one would respect me for being as, well, not measuring up as much as I think I should. And also, I feel like in general, like the relationships, I don't think people would not only find me attractive, but also desirable when it comes to just my physical capabilities. But even then, the most important thing is your health. I mean, not dying of damn heart attack. That's probably the main concern if I do start taking testosterone replacement is my family has a history of strokes and heart attacks and aneurysms, and that would increase the probability of that. At the same time, you know, the pros in terms of positives for health, and not just the fact that it would help me build muscle, but just in terms of health. Because in general, if I just leave it alone, eventually my body's going to keep getting weaker. Then again, it's also probably getting weaker due to my terrible sleep schedule. Honestly, if I had to work today, I'd probably be getting up ready and getting ready to go back to work. I had to work. At least lately, we haven't been working a bunch of overtime or anything. So that's good. Like I said, I can't really complain about my job. I mean, I don't like it and I feel miserable, but it pays my rent, and there's much worse jobs out there. Besides, I'm able to afford things like the Cthulhu book, and watch movies, and I bought a Steam card. I'll be able to do all sorts of new games on the channel, and again, like I said, whether you're depressed, or you're angry, you're scared, or whatever in life, you can find ways to vent. Whether it's just rambling in a YouTube video that no one's ever going to hear, or playing your guitar, or drawing, or watching some anime, or talking to a friend if you have those, um, or just going to watch a movie, or just maybe taking an extra nap. But I think all things in moderate, like no matter what, all of those things are probably good. Like taking a nap, that's probably good advice for everybody, even if you do normally sleep a decent amount. But of course, you don't want to do that excessively either. You don't want to sleep in bed all the time, but in general, you should definitely get a good night's rest. And even if you do get a good night's rest, a little bit of a nap here and there is actually probably good for you. And I'm not counting downtime like looking at clouds and stuff a nap. That's just downtime, which is also good. Main thing is this: it's not good to be weak, but you shouldn't push yourself so hard that you burn yourself out or hurt yourself. You should aim to be the strongest and most capable version of yourself you could possibly be. Whether it's to be stronger or smarter or to be better at your guitar or better. But at the end of the day, you have to be reasonable about things. You can't set a goal that's unachievable. And if you should definitely try your hardest to be stronger. But even if you do fail and you're still weak, you shouldn't hate yourself for it or beat yourself up over it. The goal should be to be stronger, but at the end of the day, it doesn't accomplish anything if you beat yourself up emotionally over failing at a goal. I think a good way to look at it is this: regardless of your physical health, if you're doing even a little bit, like say if you're someone out there and all you can do is 2 push-ups, well then you can do the 2 push-ups every little bit, and then just keep building on it. Though of course, it feels like there's not a point sometimes because if you start building, then eventually something happens and it's setback, and you feel like you sometimes go back to your starting point, or even worse than you were when you started, and it's very discouraging. It, I'll see the Puerto Week has a review for steak nacho fries. Not doing the search by NF again, at least not for a long time, because that guy is so fucking fast. I don't know how he pronounces things. But yeah, the Morbius movie. It had Matt Smith from Doctor Who. They actually had multiple references to Doctor Who, and I knew they were being as obvious about it as possible. Like, Matt Smith is the 11th Doctor, the regenerations. He's the 11th Doctor in Doctor Who. So at one point, the Doctor, that treats him, because he's got the same illness as Michael, it's Morbius, and the doctor asks him, so what's your pain rating? And Matt Smith responds with 11. And then, at one point in a bar, he winds up trying to pick up this girl. But, she's an actor who played Amy Pond, Amelia Pond, from Doctor Who. So it's a reference, which I appreciate. But granted, it wasn't the greatest movie ever, but in general, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a good movie. For what it was, I thought Jared Leto did a good job. But maybe I'm just tired. I'm starting to fall asleep. Here I was thinking I was going to try to read some of the Cthulhu book and play some of the games off Steam after this. But honestly, I feel like I want to go to bed right now, so at least I want to do the singing thing, and then I'll. But yeah, there's some things that I kind of felt were it felt some of the pacing and certain things were kind of off, but in general, and there are also some things that I remember hearing in the trailer that you didn't see in the movie. Probably deleted scenes, but I just I enjoy System of a Down. I enjoy music. I enjoy art. I enjoy just thinking, resting, talking to people. But in general, I tend to avoid talking about stuff like this in real life because, one, yeah, I know it's annoying to people. Two, it takes forever to talk about this stuff, and that's even when it's just me talking without interruptions, without other people talking. Because a lot of times I'll throw myself off topic, or if someone else is off talking, I might veer to their topic. It just, in general, I usually won't talk about things to people. There are times I talk to some of my friends a lot about certain things that happened in the past, and I know I talked their ears off. There's one friend of mine, at one point he was working at a gas station, and it was a very dead gas station, hardly anybody ever showed up. And I'd walk out there, and sometimes I'd spend his entire shift just standing there in that gas station talking to him. Half the time, I'd say a quarter of the time, we were standing there not saying a thing. half the time we're talking about stuff that was like anime or video games and stuff like that. The rest of the time it was just me going on and on about my thoughts and feelings on things, which I know is annoying as hell, but it's just I was emotionally upset. So I talked about my feelings. And I'll say this, at least that's the worst thing I'm ever going to do to anybody. So the worst thing I'm ever going to do is annoy people by talking about my feelings. But at least I can say I've never done anything wrong, never hurt anybody that I technically count as a pacifist. But again, I mean, also probably just because I don't have superpowers. I mean, if I had infinite power and I could abuse that power however I wanted, I don't know what the hell I'd do with it. I had violent daydreams, but that's mainly just because that triggers endorphins. Same way listening to sad music and you start to cry. That also triggers endorphins. So I guess in a way it's just controlling what you think about at times in order to just manipulate your own brain chemistry to make yourself feel better. And again, maybe I should just sleep. I don't know. And like I said, I really should complain about stuff. I mean, there's people that have much, much worse things in life than me. And really, in the end of the day, what are my issues? Oh no, um, I feel alienated from certain people that I care about. Feel like I'm a failure in terms of just everything. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking pass out. I was gonna say the top 60 album, but I'm just, like I said, this videos like this, it's nice to vent and I don't know, maybe other people, because that's the thing. Whether it's me venting about, depression or about feeling insecure about my worth as a human being, or whether or not I matter, or whether it's just frustration with work, or family, or friends, or interpersonal relationships, or women and dating, or the fact that I'm technically bisexual and fairly closeted about that just because I don't trust people around here to not be violent in reaction to that. So it's basically because I would expect violent repercussions. I would rather not, you know, be hurt. So I stick with the choice that, you know, doesn't result in me potentially being killed. Or, okay, maybe I've had a lot of rejections in terms of women, or a lot of being left, or just a partner who's very abusive. Granted, like I said, in an abusive relationship, the person's not abusive all the time. And at times, like, honestly, I'm thankful for the scar because it's a good reminder. At times, looking back, I'm like, okay, maybe it really wasn't that bad. Maybe it's just that's just how normal relationships are supposed to be, I guess. But then I can just look at my arm and be like, yeah, mean, at least it's fairly faded. So unless you're actually looking at it, you're not really going to see it. I'm just really tired. I wanted to sing Toxicity album, but I just then again, that's a good thing I don't do drugs or anything. Such a fucking addictive personality that even though I'm super exhausted and about to pass out, I still feel the need to talk and do a YouTube video. Apparently, I'm addicted to making YouTube videos. That's not a bad addiction. It's kind of like the idea of being addicted to drawing, reading, or exercising, or playing guitar. But all things are good in moderation. And there are times where I judge myself where I was like, am I a bad person because I'm not aggressive? And like I said, if there's something going on, like, say if Russia actually invades the U.S., I mean, I would feel compelled to actually try to fight and defend things, but of course, I also kind of wouldn't want to because I don't want to get shot. So, it's mainly just going to be an issue of how much anger I feel and how much my own sense of pride as opposed to fear of other people with machine guns. Now, when you think if you're a depressed person, you wouldn't be scared of death, but apparently that's not how that functions. It's not that you're scared of death, it's just you just find living painful sometimes. You still want to be alive. You don't want to die. You still want to stay alive no matter what. To the point that you very strongly want to keep on living. It's just that, it hurts. But that's just part of life. At the same time, I'm very tired. I guess part of also what I do is, aside from venting, perhaps getting an outside perspective from other people, though honestly a lot of people would probably consider maybe the internet is not the best place to get a concise or, reasonable response. Because, I mean, heck, even if somebody's not being a troll or trying to say something purposely to hurt somebody's feelings, there are some people out there that are perhaps very crazy who would have very, very warped ideas about how they should be. Like I said, I definitely need to start seeing a damn therapist, but I'm not even sure when I would schedule that stuff, and even then, I still worry about like what things to say. But the other thing is this: if other people would relate to that, I mean, heck, most men wouldn't publicly admit to having been in an abusive relationship. Because first off, you feel that admitting that your partner was abusive toward you makes you look weak, makes you look worthless. That everyone's just going to look down on you and laugh at you and just say, oh yeah, well, what's the matter? It's like, doesn't matter. Oh man, I just went to lean back and probably fell out of my fucking chair. And like I said, I mean, not all people are like that. And I'll say this, regardless of what gender or sexuality you are, if your partner is, mistreating you, you should get the hell out of that. And in general, I mean, in situations like that, I would get out hell out of it. Or if a person starts acting like that, yeah, just in that situation, I was married, I lived with the person, and I had a son to think about. I had to protect him. Funny thing is this, after the divorce, she tried over and over, tried to beg me to take her back. And I'm like, fuck no. Hell fucking no. I don't want anything to fucking do with you. I don't know. And I don't. And in general, when it comes to people having fights or relationships, I really just don't even see the point. Because either somebody did something really fucked up and they're a horrible person, and at that point, there's nothing to salvage, there's nothing to save. You just want them gone and never to see or talk to them ever again. At that point, though, I did everything I could to try to save that marriage. Because, well, I'm stupid. Oh yeah, not everyone's that way, but I mean, there's people that way in all of the walks of life in terms of mistreating other people. And the funny thing is that am and was and still am physically stronger than her. But heck, at that time when that stuff was going on, not only am I a non-confrontational person who would also, even in self-defense, you know, I wouldn't want to hurt somebody like that in regard to, a spouse. I mean, no, honestly, if things got any further, I would have had to, or else I'd be dead. But it's just, at that time, I still loved that person. I don't miss that person at all. But at times, I still blame myself as far as, you know, what was so wrong with me that I deserve to be treated that way. Then again, there are times I look back on just when I was bored in high school, middle school, and elementary, primary, and all that, or other stuff that happened in regard to other people when I was younger. You know, looking back at that sort of stuff and blaming myself. What kind of conscience has you blaming yourself for other people hurting you? I mean, situations where I'm the victim and I'm blaming myself to the point like, okay, I must have deserved it. Like even the things where I was like getting my ass kicked in fucking back alley, like groups of 5 people and shit. I'd say, well, why do people want to do that? Simple. Because they wanted to hurt people. I was the most available target. Yeah, like offhand right now, even if I had like Superman levels of strength, I wouldn't want to hurt anyone. I wouldn't want to be vengeful or go after anybody. But if I want to like go into a bar and having people actively attempt to hurt me, I'm not sure how I'd react with being pushed in that scenario. But even then, just even then, when you don't act back and you can, you do have the strength advantage. And people, when I'm talking down to you about that, I'm like, it becomes very confusing as far as what is morally right. What am I supposed to do? I mean, in general, I want to be a good person. I want to do what is right. But at times, it's the definition of what's right. It's very confusing as far as there's times where complete opposites are like, oh, this is the thing you should be doing. But then other times, like, okay, well, this is the thing you should be doing. They're polar opposites, but they're both true. It's kind of like the thing with the Bible. I believe in God and everything, but I don't think there's anything wrong with people being gay or trans. I think all that stuff should be kept away from the younger grades of school just because I just don't trust the government to be telling people what to fucking think. You know, it should just be family issues, families. But then again, I mean, there's always problems that can really rise out of that. I mean, like I remember a story of an Amish couple that were trying to conceive a kid, and they couldn't figure out why they weren't getting pregnant. And then they went in and actually saw an actual professional doctor. And and then the doctor realized what was wrong. They didn't understand how sex worked, and the Amish guy was just putting his dick in the woman and pissing, thinking that's how babies were made. Obviously, that's a bit of a satire joke, but it wouldn't surprise me to know that it possibly happened. But it's just, and I've encountered some people that are just angry, aggressive, violent. I mean, I've had numerous people actually attempt to kill me. At least that hasn't happened in a while, but even then, I'm not sure if I could emotionally handle that stuff anymore. Oh, my PS4 controller is the battery's starting to die because it's been sitting there this long on. I haven't even done the thing it's on for. Heck, sometimes it feels emotionally drained just doing my job. It just feels like it takes forever, and it's just like, it just feels like it's fucking soul crushing. I feel miserable, and it's just. I honestly feel like I have mucus building on the back of my throat. I need to cough out. I don't know. Like, and here's the thing: there's so many people in church and all that stuff where it's just like people. I mean, they claim they're people that are the ones that love God and believe God the strongest, and yet they're the ones clamoring for all sorts of hate. I would just like if everybody of all groups just accepted one another. We didn't have to. I mean, not everyone needs to sing fucking kumbaya and shit, but I just. I'm just really tired and I need to go to sleep. So, I'll probably use the bathroom and try to cough some mucus out, get some rest. feel like this video was kind of a waste, wasn't it? No point in really posting this. All I did was just basically mention that, okay, I feel concerned about an upcoming surgery. I feel concerned about doctors wanting me to put all sorts of chemicals in my body. Depression and stuff bothers me. And I'm tired and a lot of times overworked. And even when I do get time off from work, I tend to stay up for very prolonged periods of time. And it's a good thing I don't do any drugs because I have a very, very addictive personality. I feel like my body is much weaker than it should be. And I feel in terms of strength and attractiveness, skills, charisma, and everything. I feel in general that I'm just a failure. I feel that I'm just a defective human being. Heck, like say if it came to relationships, would anyone really have a reason to be proud to have me as a partner? And even then, I'd be concerned about just one, getting hurt emotionally or physically, but also I don't really feel those emotions the exact same way I did when I was younger. I mean, I still feel, you know, sexual attraction for people, and I still feel a strong need for interpersonal bonds, like, I love yous and stuff. But I know the way I feel right now is not nearly what I used to feel in the past. And I don't know if it's just reaction to certain traumas or just maybe my brain chemistry or just is this just part of getting older? It's just worsening clinical depression, just normal part of aging. And of course eventually it's gonna have to start probably taking the range of chemicals that doctors want me to take, but of course, it's not like they're being frivolous about it. I mean, obviously there's reasons why. It's kind of like if you prescribe a medication for somebody with heart attack issues, a heart condition medicine, blood pressure medicine, you're prescribing because it's to help them. At the same time, I don't want to be addicted or dependent on chemicals. Says the man who's constantly eating junk food and chugging energy drinks. I don't know. Like I said, at least I'm not crying or anything. Because for the most part, any of those videos I don't upload at all. I don't know where I'm going with any of this. I enjoyed the Morbius movie. Wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't bad. I'd suggest watching it. There was also like a poster, like a giant poster in the lobby of that place for the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie. And there was just like Jim Carrey's at the top of it. And it's just like, if there was ever a thing, like intense Jim Carrey, yeah, just a very intense picture of Jim Carrey. But yeah, I mean, and here's the thing: I don't care what gender or sexual orientation any of you are. Um, Anyone ever have, you know, bad relationship, you know, experience isn't the word. Um, I don't know. I don't know what the right word is, but it's not experience. I don't know what the right word is. And I can't blame being tired on it because I could probably be fully awake and I probably still wouldn't remember whatever the correct word is, but I know experience is not the correct word. I'm just saying in terms of just being treated badly by people or being bullied back, especially say when you were in school, or and granted that stuff's in the past when I'm not in school anymore, but it's just that stuff still sticks with you. So this main thing I'm trying to say is this: in terms of being bullied or mistreated, or even being in whether it be relationships or family, friends, any other situation where you might be involved with other human beings, where people have been abusive toward you. I mean, does anyone out there identify with that stuff? I don't know. I think I'm just very tired. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I guess I just wanted to ramble and talk about how I feel about things. I guess one big thing is this: I'm very non-aggressive to people. It'd be one thing if, like, if I was walking around the city and somebody was trying to kill somebody, or somebody was coming after me with a fucking knife or some shit. And obviously, I have to react to that and defend myself. But in general, even if somebody's just like being rude to me or disrespectful, I'm not gonna want to try to hurt somebody over something like that. As far as I'm concerned, me doing anything physically violent is just a last ditch response to someone attempting physical violence against me or somebody else. And even then, I don't always respond that way all the time. I mean, like I said, take the incident where I got the scar on my arm. I didn't throw a single fucking punch. Heck, I don't think I've ever struck a woman my entire life. I never planned to, and I hope that there's no situation in life that forces something like somebody like having a gun or some shit. But yeah, but it's just if it had been any deeper, I would have needed stitches for that. 3 months, wearing long sleeves, you have to heal enough to where I could not wear long sleeves anymore without it being immediately noticeable that something was very wrong. And but here's the thing. It didn't so much hurt physically that happened. It was the experience of it and who it was that did that. It was more so emotional betrayal that it hurt more emotionally than it did physically by a large margin. And even though this scar on my arm is mainly faded, and heck, maybe in time it might be fully healed and I won't see it anymore, I'd say the scar emotionally hasn't faded at all. I feel like my throat's full of mucus and I need to puke it out or some shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting like allergies or something. The weather's being kind of weird today. It's been back and forth between sunny and cloudy, and I mean, literally, it snowed multiple times this morning. It's April 1st, and yet it's snowing. It's not supposed to snow this time of year. I'm just gonna stop this video. I'm gonna cough out whatever mucus I can, and I'm gonna go to sleep. I'll read the Cthulhu book and see the toxicity thing. I wake up. And I'll actually take the time to actually organize the videos for that. So, but it's just. I don't know. I suppose the main thing is this. I wanted to ramble about just in general. I feel like just I feel like I'm a defective human being, and that I just don't. Uh, there's no way to finish that sentence that doesn't sound overly depressing. And you're like, well, the whole video's been depressing, Lunar. Yes, I admit that. But I thought of 6 or 7 different ways, actually 9 different ways to end that sentence. Imagine a semicolon, and then 2 more sentences after it. But everything I could think of to say just everything that pops into my head to say. I just don't think it's appropriate to say to anyone. I should just go to sleep. But yeah, does anyone else feel this way too? Do other people feel this way? Do you guys identify with this feeling?